I think we got it.
I think we got it that time.
I think that was about
right.
as good as it's going to get. I mean, I know
That's a
we
wrap.
kind of started. Anyway, we can retire. This is our final episode. Goodbye, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. Welcome to the Cracked Movie Club, the show where we do a book club, but for movies which are like books, but better. I'm your host, Jordan Breeding, and I am joined by text change. I'm joined by my co-host, Jesse and Allie. You know why? It's because one of you gets COVID every other week, and you're just cyclically getting sick. I'm having to fight through the pain.
I've never had it. I had it for the first time. It was bad.
Also, say hello, I guess.
Oh, hey.
Oh, hey, hello.
I'm gonna say something real controversial. Just like COVID was
How many
bad.
seconds in? Oh,
just like don't get it. Like if you can, which you can't.
Yeah,
demonetized.
I just don't get it. I just don't get this whole COVID thing.
Yeah, I don't understand why people are so obsessed with getting it.
Yeah, it's like.
But I had it. And it was
I liked
bad.
it better before. I enjoyed my time better before it rotted my brain.
Woof.
And my lungs and all that.
Mm.
Oh yeah. No, I hear it's great. I'm never gonna get it because I am ordained. Maybe.
It's actually yet to be seen if that's true.
I don't know if
it was
I'm
a faulty
ordained.
ordination.
Yeah, but I was ordained at one point, so for life.
It's like the cootie. Getting ordained is like the cootie shot.
Yeah.
Once you get it, you're good. Unlike the COVID shot, I guess. But anyway, I was going to call this anti-vax Bahamas, but YouTube downranks any anti-vax content. So
I mean,
but like, does it? I feel like that's
not
the
my
big problem.
Anti-vax comment. Yeah.
I feel like that's the big problem of the last couple of years is that it doesn't downgrade
enough
anti-vax
of
stuff
it.
enough.
They're actually doing a bad job catching what they need to be catching.
That's how we capture niche markets. Is this week we're going all in on anti-vax.
Right. Yeah. Last week was Indian film, and we waded into a whole lot of things that we, to be totally honest, didn't know a lot about and just kind of said, hey, I saw an article that said this. And a lot of people said, but that's not what the movie says. And I'm sorry. So we should have done more research ahead of time last week. But
I'm sorry
we got a lot
that
of new people watching.
To talk about
and
it because
we got a lot of new subscribers.
Fun.
Yeah. Also, Allie did do kind of a lot of research. It seems.
I really did. I had a great time watching the movie. I had so many notes to talk about.
I'm actually thrilled that we didn't talk about the thing that you talked about because I don't think we needed to talk about more
controversial stuff.
Controversial stuff.
It was just interesting in that it seems that fans of this movie and of the director's work and certain just actors, just I always think of people in America as being the most voracious fans, and I think that is truly just my own bias of recency bias of being well, that's what I see on Twitter, because then you read something and you're like, wow, now that's a fan behavior. I was wrong.
Well, and people found our fans of RRR are clearly scouring YouTube looking for reviews, for better or worse. Gamefully Unemployed is a podcast by some other ex-crack people, and they did RRR with Jason Pargin, who was a guest on our podcast, and that one has 10 times, 20 times the views on their YouTube as their normal stuff. Ours is our most successful yet, and a lot of those views are from YouTube search. Anyway, doesn't matter. We're not talking about RRR. We're talking about frickin' Old, which was a terrible decision by me.
We only talk about
levels.
movies that are one word, 3 letters. That's it.
Yes, that's all we do. And we ran out of ideas real quick. We had Men, we had RRR, and now we're here. Also, just by the way, for those of you that are just checking into the live stream, the way that we do this, it's going to be really tough because Brian is not here, and Brian is supposed to be the one who tags things. Brian might show up at some
so instead,
point.
Jordan's going to do it, and while we talk and bare our soul, Jordan's going to say, I'm sorry, I didn't hear anything you just said. Was it important?
I'm not going to pay any. But if you have a thought that's interesting or an alternate title for this film, just say it, and I might see it. I might not. But
let us know. Let us know if you lost your virginity on vacation as a kid or as a teen or whatever, and we'll get to that.
When you had the mind of a 6-year-old, yeah.
The mind of a 6-year-old, the body of a 50-year-old, and the vocabulary, they split the difference. The vocabulary of a
he didn't have the body of a 50-year-old. He had a body of a
at the end.
At the end.
Yeah, but not when he was impregnating stuff.
Yeah, he was like 15, but also like kind of not really, because also the actor is like probably in his 20s.
He's got to be, yeah.
He's in every movie that's about a family just absolutely losing their minds. The kids never had a normal vacation.
Yeah. Well, because that's a kid, and he's been in Hereditary, but he's been in other horror stuff too. Right?
Yes, he's like always in like like a kid who's like, what's happening? Like he's always having a really terrible time.
Right, because he was also in the freaking Jumanji movie.
Yes.
Right. The other horror.
Wow.
Body horror.
Horrible.
Actually,
I'm scared of that one.
I actually liked it. It was fine.
I liked it. I'm just saying it.
Ooh, we should have watched that instead.
We should have watched probably anything. Cracked his shit now. I saw that one. Thank you, Johnny Potseed. I appreciate it. That's the one comment I noticed.
Hey, you come to Jordan's house and you tell him that yourself. You coward.
Come over here.
I like Jordan Potseed. What is it? Johnny Potseed?
Johnny Potseed.
That's good. Going around America sowing the pot seeds, making sure that we all grow strong. I like that. So
my mom claims that we're related to Johnny Appleseed. So maybe I'm related to Johnny Potseed. So
yeah, how can you be related to?
Yeah, he's real. It's a real person.
Well.
It's not like Paul Bunyan's blue ox or whatever. It's like
I was gonna just say that my dog is related to the big blue ox.
I'm actually related to the Jolly Green Giant.
Wow, we all have something. So
absolutely roasting Jordan's mom. Sorry.
My mom is a saint. Maybe literally. I don't know. I don't know where all the ordinations and stuff are in our family. So here's what we're gonna say. Allie, tell us what the hell this movie is, and then I will defend why I decided to pick it.
Cool. In this movie, people go on a tropical.
Mackie, thank you so much. Yes, I agree. Old cinematography. A lot of people said it was great. It was pretty weird.
It was weird.
I think
we'll talk about it. I'm sure.
I think it's sorry. I think Mackie's comment is very appropriate. They said, "Please keep up the work." Not necessarily the good work.
I think that's actually very helpful. You see, it's something I've talked about.
Being employed, yeah.
I've talked about that many times with my therapist. Sometimes we are obsessed with ascribing good versus bad versus whatever to almost anything, our work, our output, our relationships, when it would just behoove us to let things be and perhaps reflect later on whether we think it was good, bad, worthwhile, whatever, as opposed to in the moment deciding. If I don't side right now if this is good or bad, I can't continue to engage with it. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
I understand.
No, Mackie, don't go back on it. Don't go back on it.
No. Completely negates everything you just said. All right. Sorry. What is this stupid movie?
Okay, in the movie Old.
Sorry, really quickly. Spoilers are fine. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I don't care about spoilers. So everybody who cares about spoilers for this dumb ass year-old movie, just be aware they're coming because I want to talk about it. Go. Sorry. I'm done.
In the movie Old, did Jordan just disappear? Oh my god, you leaned back and you fully disappeared.
You got so casual.
That's cinematography.
That was wild. That was like a joke from Airplane. Like that I don't know if you could possibly recreate. That's really fantastic. I am never going to give a summary of this movie and I frankly don't care.
I'm so talented. Go.
That's good. In the movie Old. ... Okay, great. In the movie Old, a bunch of families are invited to a tropical island and they are having a big fancy vacation there. And a person says, hey, the really exclusive thing to do here is to go to this like super secluded little beach, little cove. We only take a couple people there every time.
A sexy little cove.
It's really special. We'll drive you down there. Just go meet this driver at whatever time and we'll go. And so a very small group of people are taken to this little secluded beach where they discover that an hour is basically an hour on the island is like a year of your life essentially. And so that like a day is like basically half a lifetime.
I think it's every 30 minutes. I
thought every 30 minutes was, every 30 minutes is an hour. That's exactly.
It'd be weird if they said every 30 minutes is half a year. That would be
now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, that makes no sense.
They also spent like an outsized amount of their lives trying to do the math.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
So there's like a couple different people in this who are in this little secluded problem. There's like a married couple, there's a couple with kids who are going through a divorce but aren't telling the kids yet. There's an older guy married to a young, sort of vain, beauty obsessed younger wife. There's a rapper named Mid-Size Sedan, one of my hardest laughs of the year. I'm not joking. I had to
It's
pause
pretty
the
good.
movie because I was laughing so hard. And so anyway, they're all aging very rapidly. The other thing is that like it's not just aging, but like time is moving really quickly. So like if you get an injury, the injury heals really fast. Blah blah blah. It is at first they're just like, this is magic, and then later they're like, maybe it's actually like some sort of interference. I feel like we're being spied on. There seems to be like cameras up there and a guy keeps appearing and spying on us, blah blah blah. Everyone dies because they're old, but it is discovered, twist, here it comes,
Everybody buckle up.
that the government does know about this, and they put those people there on purpose because they all were being studied. Oh my God, there he goes. He's gone. They're all being studied because most of them had some sort of disease. They were like testing drugs on them. So instead of wasting an entire lifetime on a drug trial, they get it done in a day. That's the movie Old. Thank you.
So why did we watch this? Because
Great question.
It's such a dumb idea it was such a meanie thing that I wanted to see in theaters, but nobody would go with me, and it was also COVID and stuff like that, which I guess it still is because you guys keep missing this podcast. But I just really wanted to see it, and I figured this is a way to do it that I won't feel like I've completely wasted my time regardless of what happens, although I still pretty much feel like I did. But I just wanted to talk about it because I love high concept horror where it's like there's one goofy thing that they have to deal with. It's like, I think it's called Lights Out or whatever. It's like the monster can only move when the lights are out or whatever.
Yes,
like
totally.
These like really specific things that they have to deal with because, and I feel like I've mentioned this before, like one of the things that's great about Christopher Nolan, which is not a horror thing, so I'm skipping a little bit, is he will take whatever weird time idea or whatever he has and does a really good job of building action set pieces around it. Where he's like, okay, if we're moving backwards, wouldn't it be crazy if we attacked this island at the same time so that the time, whatever. So I like when horror movies do a good job of saying, okay, here's our weird reality. What are all the creepy things that could happen if this is true? And I think this movie did fine with that. I think that relatively pans out. Like it doesn't make any damn sense, but
yeah.
It was.
And I also will say that like, I kept finding myself getting distracted trying to see if things were actually following the rules that they had set up, which I think is like
Midnight Mass is wonderful.
Oh, I have not watched Midnight Mass. We can watch that.
Yeah, just watch it. It's great.
I also really like high concept stuff, but when the question starts getting in the way of the enjoyment of the movie, it kind of sucks.
Sure.
And so like for me, if they're like, okay, everything's moving faster, if you have an injury, the injury heals momentarily. It's not just that you get older, it's that like everything moves faster. But there were like birds and stuff flying around who didn't seem to be aging and falling out of the sky. They had food on the island, and she like reached in and got a big old thing of pasta salad, which she ate because she had like pregnancy cravings, I suppose. Yeah. And that hadn't like molded and gone bad in the last 20 years or whatever it was. So like it didn't really follow the rules that it set up. Like,
yeah, two big things that I thought would have followed the rules are A, shouldn't some of the flora and fauna have like evolved to be super fucking different?
Okay, and, Annihilation.
And B, shouldn't they all be pissing and shitting constantly?
Because like moving through their body really quickly?
Yeah. If like decay of a body or if like tetanus happens like fucking lightning fast, shouldn't like when you eat a noodle, it should immediately be shit. And that
I guess
would be
so. They also
So
should have technically like starved to death too, because like the baby died from inattention in 4 seconds.
That's why
that was so funny. Yeah,
that's why they gave them so much food. The kids needed so much. Remember, he hands them a basket full of food, and he's like, "This seems like a lot of food." He's like, "Trust me, you're gonna need it." By the way, we shit 320 pounds of poop in a year, so that's every hour on this beach. 320 pounds of shit coming through them.
In a lot of ways,
Multiply that by like 15 people.
Just like that would be what the whole movie would be about.
Yeah.
Where to store the shit. Yeah.
They would step one foot on the beach and just explode out of their anus and die. It's like,
I also feel like, speaking of like high concept
here?
stuff, like if something is entertaining enough, I do feel like even if you have the questions, you stop thinking about them because you're like engaged. Do you know what I mean? And so like I think a really good example of that is the movie Us, which again, like, sorry if you haven't seen Us, I'm gonna say what it's about basically, but like we have all these like alter egos, these tethers that are like living underground, but like basically mimicking what we do. And so like, of course, the first minute that they say that, I was like, what about when I get on an airplane? Does my tether like fly up to the ceiling of the basement she's in and just sort of like hit against a wall and stay there until my plane comes back? But like the movie is fun and engaging and scary. And so like, even if I have that thought, it does not like derail my enjoyment of the movie. I'm like having a good time watching the movie. Whereas this movie had so many things and it moved at such a breakneck pace. I just kind of spent the entire time being like, well, there's a crab. Why isn't the crab dead? Like, I don't know.
Well, the crab doesn't have cancer anymore, so...
Right. So, okay. So that's the thing, is the reason I wanted to talk about the twist and have spoilers is because it also makes no sense conceptually from a like medicinal testing of people standpoint, because there's a lot of different reasons, and spoiler alert for Your Brain on Crack that's coming out. We're going to talk about how it makes no sense to do it this way. But think about it from several different angles. One of which is like, you don't observe literally anything about the bodies except for what you can see from afar. And they're testing essentially one person's problem at a time. Like the person with the cancer drugs is saved sort of, but they also are having to deal with a tumor growing to the size of a grapefruit in seconds. Like none of these things are like repeatable. They're like, oh, the one girl survived, didn't have a seizure for the equivalent of 18 years. But also several of their trials are cut short by the guy with the mental issues stabbing everybody to death. It just like you can't observe so many different.
And it was so funny that like when one person was like, I really think we shouldn't have somebody who has like a degenerative schizophrenic disease on the island with other people, the person who was in charge of it was like, dude, shut up. Like it was like the most like, not even just like good point, we'll think about that. He was just like da. Stop. What you're saying makes like, I was like very valid. I thought it was a valid point. Like,
just
I can't
smile
believe
and clap.
Literally, it was so funny. Like, even if the response had just been like, we understand, I think we've learned our lesson. No. He was just like, dude, shut up. Lame. Like
but it's also like, so say the drug works for one of these people, they're going to have to fly in. Like, how many trials do they do on real drugs? They're going to have to fly in 2,000 people with their secret internet ad and kill them all in trial groups of like 30 people with all sorts of random diseases at a time. Like, the inefficiency is insane. Like, surely it would be easier to just get legal drug testing and just do that for 5 years than to try and piece together, well, these are the only 11 sick people who signed up for a crazy internet ad this week. It's just like, it's just not efficient. It doesn't make any sense. How are all your results just M Night Shyamalan standing with binoculars from 1,000 miles away being like, I think we cured cancer?
I also thought that it was so funny that he's in the movie. Because to me, it sort of feels like, like when a serial killer starts to get a little too cocky because they're getting bored and they start just like leaving clues on purpose, or like, they start coming around the scene of the crime themselves because they're just like, oh yeah, that's so weird that all those people in that house died. But it's like, it's because like they have like a need for they've hit the pinnacle of what they're going to do already. They like need to go further. I was like, why do you have to be in this movie? You're bored.
I felt like his cameo, right? Like, because he always has a cameo, and I don't.
Yeah, he's been in every movie he's ever made.
But
I like that. I mean, like, I don't like it. I'm just saying, like, I think it's funny that he's like really good at making horror movies, and he's like, it's not enough. I also have to be the van driver.
Like, I have to act. The fact that he was the van driver, I felt like he was like almost screaming into the camera, being like, "Buckle up! I'm about to take you for a ride." Come on, you don't have to.
I mean, he's doing the Hitchcock thing. That's what it is he thinks he's, Novo Hitchcock or whatever. But it's like he's the guy in Signs who like kills Mel Gibson's wife, and it varies.
Oh, yeah.
He's like the brilliant writer in freaking Lady in the Water. He's like the writer for Told who like solves all the problems in that freaking movie that makes no sense. He's the guard in The Village who like gives her the drugs. I mean, he's in everything. It's just it's really funny that he also had to be the van driver who also is the binoculars guy. Like, why did they split that between?
He actually has a lot of jobs. They're really understaffed.
The funniest. His funniest line was when he's like there with the binoculars watching the two kids drown or whatever, and then he like quickly packs up his stuff and he calls his boss and he's like, the boss is like, "Are you sure they're dead?" And he's like, "Yeah, I watched for a minute and a half."
Literally, he's dead. Like, "It's actually been 120 seconds and nobody's emerged. I'm pretty sure they're dead." And like, that's science.
And I'm peckish, so I'm gonna be back at the office soon.
Right, and that's the guy who's observing the whole time. That's the guy trusted to take the notes. It's like they're probably dead.
Felt like so many times I thought I was watching a parody. Like either this was made as a parody or I accidentally opened the wrong movie and this was like a scary movie version of
this was an
M Night
old porn parody.
So right, because like even the thing with the coral reef or whatever, like if they know that's how that people keep escaping, then blow it up or like put a gate on it or what. Like,
did they say that people have escaped that way before, or that they just were afraid that they could?
They escaped, but they drowned, or like they got out, but they drowned. So they didn't like escape, but they, whatever.
Right.
So, but I mean, so they're at least aware that it's a passage that somebody has used unsuccessfully. But if you were going to get out, you'd have to go through there because, magic doesn't work in coral.
Yeah, it's like when you get an X-ray and you put the metal on you and it like it encases you. I don't know. They do a lot of trying to explain stuff, which I guess I like. I guess I respect that the characters in the movie are trying to reason through things, even if it's stupid. Because I think that like makes sense writing wise, that they would be like, well, if we can't go through this way, or like why don't we walk through really slowly? Yeah, but if we do that, it'll take us 50 years to walk through. Like I liked that they like tried to reason through things.
And totally, and that's my favorite thing about high concept horror is having, or anything really, but like having to figure out how to exploit the rules in a clever way to escape and whatever. Like even I don't know, just basically any horror movie like this where they do that, that's great, that's fun, but they just got so, the more they explain it, the more you're like, yeah, but that doesn't really make any sense. And I feel like even more than that, the big issue for me is that all the characters, they don't seem like they are that worried about it most of the time. Like even like the kids who survive to basically the end, they sit on the damn beach all night long building sandcastles and shit. And then they're like, do you think we should try and escape? And he's like, I guess, otherwise we're going to die here. I'm like, you aged like 30 years. Why? Keep trying. I don't know. It's very weird that they were like, resigned to my fate, I guess.
Yeah. In a lot of ways, they were like resigned to their, I can't tell if it's bad acting or bad direction. Cause I feel like so many times it was like, okay, you're worried about this, but you're resigned to it. Now try and mix those up into one delivery. And it always comes out as, should we go swim?
I mean, okay, so if speaking of acting, this movie has genuinely an all-star cast. Maybe not all-star in terms of like A-list actors, but like these are all people who have put in like really well-regarded performances in like some big movies over the last couple of years. The main couple, the woman
that Sports Illustrated model or whatever.
And that Sports Illustrated model.
She's
actually
like
kind of funny. I like kind of like thought she got the humor in a way. I don't know.
Yeah. She's the one person the one cast member bold enough to be like, wait, so this is bullshit, right?
Yeah.
You're joking.
Oh, I was gonna say Bryan Cranston was originally cast for this but couldn't make it work. If Bryan Cranston was on that beach, I would have believed everything. He would have crushed it. I don't even care.
He sort of has the gravitas to make that. Was he gonna be the older doctor who was like losing his mind?
I think he was mid-sized sedan.
Stop.
I'm sure he was the dad.
I mean, I really think that like, okay.
Oh, he's probably
that
the
line
doctor.
of dialogue. There's a rapper on the island. His name is Mid-Size Sedan. That's what you need to know. There is a line of dialogue where the teenage daughter turns to her dad and is like, "Oh my God, that's Mid-Size Sedan." And he's like, "I don't know who that is." And she's like, "Oh my God, you're so old and lame. He's the biggest rapper in the world." And it's like,
Do you remember his song? The name of his song?
No, it was probably like my blood is so thin. I wish I had thicker blood. I don't know.
No, it was and in that same conversation, she's describing to her dad why he should care, and she's like, "Mid-size sedan, more gel for the cooking."
You're so right. Yes, it was like more oil for the cooking. Oh my God, maybe I wrote it down.
He's like,
I don't know.
Oh man.
Didn't. I mean, M Night Shyamalan, you didn't have to name the song. You probably didn't even have to name the rapper. Or if you just think about it for more than seconds.
Wait, but about the actors. So Vicky Krieps is the mom. She was in Phantom Thread and got like universal acclaim for her performance in that movie. Gael Garcia Bernal is in Mozart in the Jungle. He was in Y Tu Mama Tambien. He is like a unbelievably he's like an unbelievably well-regarded actor. And then for like the kids, it's like the kid from Hereditary. The girl was just in Last Night in Soho. She's also great. That movie was like wild and kind of all over the place, but like she's really good in it. Then the girl who's like the little girl who gets pregnant and then falls is Eliza Scanlon, who was in Sharp Objects and also in Little Women and was like amazing. Like every single actor. Even at the end when the girl grows up, she's Miss Honey. Do you know what I'm talking about? Did you know that? Did you realize that? Do you remember
what,
Matilda?
From Matilda?
Yes.
Wow.
I know. So anyway, all actors everybody likes saying lines of dialogue such as, "You're always thinking about the future. You're always thinking about the past. You work in a goddamn museum."
Yeah. And together we're both overlooking the present. Like, I mean, you just punch me in the face with
"You're always thinking about the past, comma, you work in a goddamn museum, exclamation point. Like that's how it exists on the page. I think it might be a crime. I don't know.
Yeah, there was so much. And there's other stuff like early on, the mom was like, "Oh, your voice is so good when you sing. I can't wait to hear it when you're older."
Well,
he sings.
He knew that the marketing was going to tell everybody what was going on anyway, so I think he just leaned into it and was like, "Whatever. We should just." It is campy in a lot of ways, but I feel like I was saying this before the podcast, but to your point about the acting and the dialogue and where the problems are exactly, there's a ton of really long takes, just like really slow pans. And I was debating whether a lot of the dialogue was potentially improvised, if only because like during the girl getting rapidly pregnant scene, the mom is running over to the son and is like, "Okay, let me explain how pregnancy works, I guess." And she's like, "It's going to hurt. And she'll probably yell, but then she'll be fine. It's all good. We've all had beach births." And he's like, "But I love her more than you love Dad because I would never get divorced." And they're like yelling this over each other while some dude in the beach, like in the back, is like, "She's having the baby." And it's just so much like layered, but like they're just like saying things while the camera like slow pans past them to try and get their marks and stuff. Although that said, M Night Shyamalan apparently storyboarded every shot, quote unquote. So this was all his idea. I don't know if he thought it would be more exciting to have like the people just not care, but
so it was based on a graphic novel, which made certain things click for me because a lot of it was like, he put a lot of thought into it, and it almost seemed like the implied thing was, it made more sense in the novel, or like if you read the novel, you'd get it. So I'm sure he storyboarded the graphic novel. I'm sure he storyboarded it, but he had just read what is basically a storyboard and then just like condensed it to a shorter movie.
Yeah, I mean,
and it didn't have the ending either.
I feel
that
like
whole thing is him.
I like the high concept premise. I don't even mind that it's a beach that makes you old. Honestly, like if you're like, okay, it's about a beach and it makes you old, I'm like, I'm in. I'd love to find out. It's like, I think it was like a combination of trying to make it too much of like a parable of like, see, that's why when you argue with your husband, you know what I mean? Like, it all felt a little like, and like everybody had like a lesson to learn, but like no one was really fully learning anything because they all were too busy running away from a man with a knife. Do you know what I mean? Like, it felt like a little too fixated on being like a horror movie that was also a statement about living. Whereas like I feel like if it had just been like a Junji Ito like scary comic, you'd be like, that was scary. That was a beach that makes you old. Because all of his stuff, I don't know if you're fans of his work, but like, and all of it is just like, it's about spirals and they make you crazy. And like, if you think about it too much, like that's insane. But if you read the comic, you're like, that was scary. That's about a town that sees spirals and it makes you crazy. Like, it works.
Is he the one that made the story about everybody like sees a hole in a rock? That's their thing.
Yes.
Yeah. That's such a good ass
and
point.
everything he draws is the scariest thing. Stop. It really is scary. I like horror stuff, and so I really like his stuff. But again, it's like a premise that if you dig way too deep into it, it is stupid. Where you're just like, she's turning into a slug, and you're like, is that it? And you're like, she's turning into a slug. You're gonna be scared, and you're like, okay, I'll see, and you are. But like, if they were like, and the metaphor for that is that she shouldn't have argued with her husband, you'd be like, okay, well, I thought that she turned into a slug, and it scared me because it was weird. But now you're telling me it's also because time is fleeting. I don't know.
Yeah,
See, you know what I'm saying?
That's a good point, because I wanted the girl that had the baby to that baby have another baby, and then that baby have another baby,
and they're all full grown men, and it just keeps
and they come out of each other.
Yeah. Just like birthing out of each other's heads and arms and legs
until finally my ex-boyfriend pops out of them.
Yeah.
My dead ex-boyfriend.
Dead ex.
Dead X.
Yeah,
that's the name of this film.
Jordan just furious that they never get to see like a cool like father-daughter moment.
Yeah. Dead X would have been a much cooler name for the rapper in this movie.
Dead
X. It's like, oh my god, that's Dead X. Yeah, that'd be cool.
No, I mean, obviously the point was that it was funny, but I agree, because at this point, M Night Shyamalan is a 50-year-old dude with 3 daughters, and if anybody could write a relationship in there, it would have been him. But all it is the parents yelling through the wall, and then occasionally the mom being like, you don't get it, you're an idiot, you're too young. And she's like, I mean, I don't look it anymore, and I see colors now that I did not previously see. I see colors now. She says it like 3 times. I'm like, all right,
yeah.
I
did actually like that line of dialogue. She said it in the dumbest, most clunky way, but she was basically saying like, when I was a kid 20 minutes ago, I thought in fewer colors, but they were brighter. And now I think in more colors, but they're duller. And I was like, shit, that's like kind of like what growing up is, you know?
Yeah,
I did like that. Then she said it like 2 or 3 more times. And I was like, I get it.
And
that's what I do anytime I have a good point to make.
The writing was just so weird. Like, that is really like what we're all saying. It's just like people would talk and they would say things that no human would ever say in a way no human would ever say it. And even though you objectively are like, I know this guy's a good actor, I know he is, what you are doing is inhuman to me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to remember the guy. I think it was the Asian actor that was in Lost, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember if he's a doctor or what he is in this movie, but he just, every time he's on screen, he's like, do you guys think we should do this? He's like, okay, well, here's what he in particular, just every time the camera pans, because it always, I want everyone's reaction on what's happening. He's like
that's 70s show shit.
He's like, she's like, yeah. She's like, I have a tumor growing, and it's like the old guy's like, I'm losing my mind, and then the husband is always like, what? No, how?
Yeah.
Anyway, it gets to him,
and the mom is always like, come on, kids, follow me. Don't look at this. Don't look at this. Come and follow me over here. Yeah.
Not look. It's really great. But that guy in particular was always like, I'll just go swimming. He's like, I honestly, I'm not too worried about it, but like somebody should do something. He just was very, also, I love that the dad was named Guy.
Yeah.
So like, perfect.
That took me so long in the movie to think that she wasn't just like emasculating him.
Yeah.
This guy.
Hey, look at this guy. I'm going to divorce you, Guy.
And you can picture it. M. Night Shyamalan like writing this down and being like, okay, we're going to have a main character. We'll call him Guy for now.
Yeah.
But I'll rename him later.
Jenny, that's a great point. I don't know if you noticed, every single character had a profession that related to a need at a certain point in the film. Everybody's like, how do you know? It's like, I'm an insurance adjuster. I know exactly how much, I can't remember what the problem was, but like every single person at some point was like, well, I have this very random specific job.
Yeah, even the woman who worked in
the
woman who lives in the past because she works in the museum understands how quickly bones would age if they were left exposed and whatever. It's like, wow.
Did they do this research? Well, all they did, the pharmaceutical company, they just researched everybody's illness. They didn't really. I guess they knew their professions, but they did. They
I get the sense that some people are on the island as collateral, like the wife. I know she had a tumor.
No, the kid.
So the husband is the collateral. I don't fucking know.
No, the husband had like sniffles or something.
But like the woman who had the seizures, who they were studying, her husband, the nurse. I'm a nurse. He didn't have anything wrong with him, and he wasn't on the island because he was a nurse. He was on the island because he was her husband. Do you know what I mean? Like,
right.
I don't know.
Yeah. So when she had that first seizure, like before they get to the beach or whatever, I was overwhelmed with the feeling that she was faking it. And I don't know if I thought the character was faking it or the actor was faking it, but there's something so stupid about it.
I kind of was like, when she had the seizure and then later she was like, I'm fine. I'm on the island. I was kind of like, oh, I would take the day off. I guess maybe I don't. I guess I'm maybe not you. I can't impose my will on you. But do you know what I mean? Like if you have like a grand mal seizure on breakfast and you like fall and hit your head, and then somebody's like, oh, I should drive you 2.5 hours away from medical stuff, and you should just go to a secluded beach. I think I'd be like, I'm good. I'll go tomorrow.
Just stay in a hotel.
Yeah, I'll go tomorrow. Like I don't know.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
I just love that at various points. Well, Jesse, there's no reason that they would want them all to be well equipped to understand what's happening because they're all going to die. Like that's the whole premise. They have to go through and scrub your internet history or whatever for all the billions of people that go through these trials.
It's almost like Jigsaw like accidentally captured MacGyver.
That's funny.
It's like
he one guy.
Yeah, he captures a team of people that are like, I know all about disarming weapons. They're like, oh my God, I'm so good at cutting wires. Yeah.
And I know sleight of hand.
I'm the guy from 127 hours. I know how to saw through your arm in a really safe way that'll make you survive.
Yeah. He's like, oh my God, son of a bitch. I thought this would be easier.
It's really good. I really like this. This is a good premise. We could make this a Junji Ito comic.
Jigsaw in his early days was always capturing like really talented people. And he was
didn't do his research.
Yeah, he's like,
damn it, I got David Blaine again.
He's like, I want to play a game. You're not valuing your magician talent enough. If you could escape, shit. All right, well, do you enjoy your life now? Damn it. Because that's the other thing. Is nobody ever escapes from a saw trap. So like his whole underlying. Well, I guess they do at the. Never.
They do in the first movie.
In the 7th one, they reveal several people that have escaped. I forgot. Wow. I have seen all 9, and I made a video that you can watch on Cracked YouTube channel. Not on Cracked.com, because if you look for video, you can't find it.
It ain't there, maybe.
Well, it'll bring you to an article.
Can I posit a question about the movie?
I thought you meant like pause the live stream. Can I pause?
Can I pause the live stream? My cat is acting really cute right now. If you ever see me looking distracted, it's because my cat is like just looking so cute right now. Okay,
and I'm looking out the window in case my cat comes home.
Oh,
it ran away. I mean, it ran away like 2 years ago. It's fine.
Okay, it's coming back today though. I can feel it. Okay,
good luck, buddy.
So, when they were trying to escape the island by going through the rocks, right? Was it a metaphor for / was it shaped like a birth canal? And the whole thing was that you can't go back. Like you can only emerge and keep going, but there's no like returning. There's no going back through the birth canal into the safety of the womb. You will only just age and get older.
The best you can hope for is to spend the rest of your life with your aunt, who's going to be really confused.
I mean, like what do we think?
I mean, birth canals are covered in metal, right?
Yes. And if you go into them, you get really dizzy and like fucked up.
Yeah, and it's really hard to see.
Allie, that's called falling in love.
Oh my God, I'm actually so dizzy and fucked up right now. I feel like I'm trying to go the wrong way through a birth canal.
So I can't remember what it looked like, but I love that idea. And but it reminds me of like, was it sort of like a wormhole kind of situation, like with time travel movies and stuff?
I feel like it's almost like it's more of a passage into adulthood. Like I feel like it's not as much. It didn't feel as much like about the premise is about birth. It's about just the aging process. I mean, M Night Shyamalan said it's about our relationship to time, and as that one reviewer pointed out, it's like time stops, which is
not
literally not what happens
about at all.
But I think he was talking about, they filmed it during COVID, and he was writing it some during COVID. And it's this: how do we relate to time? Because in some ways it's subjective, some ways it's not. And so that's what I felt like they were finally sort of accepting that they should do something with time, maybe not just make sandcastles until they're 50 years old. And I don't know. But
See,
I mean, birth is as good as anything else.
I kind of liked that I kind of thought it was a beautiful moment when they were just like, well, time is fleeting and we don't have much left and there's not much we can do about it. Do you want to just like enjoy our lives? Like, do you want to just like kind of go back to being kids and make a sandcastle? And so then when they were like, you know what if we try to escape? I actually was disappointed because I kind of thought that like I thought the like profound message was like, you can claw and fight and all this shit, but like ultimately you will die. That is the only certainty. And so you might as well just like make a sandcastle with your sister and have a nice time and watch the sunrise, because like there simply is nothing to be done about it. And then
You're
they were
gonna be
but
boned
also
by the morning.
But there is something to be done about it, and it means you have to hold your breath for 90 seconds. Good luck.
91 seconds.
You'll die. Yeah. So I
sound like a scientist
by the end.
or a drug researcher at the beach. Like,
I think
I'd
accidentally zoned out by that point in the movie because I didn't catch that they made sandcastles and then we're like, you know what? Let's try it. Let's risk it all to like live our lives.
Well,
but that fucking rules. I like that theory.
She found a note from one of them found a note
from the little boy.
Yeah, who was like, just so you know, the coral reef is important.
It was my dad. My dad doesn't like the coral. That was the
that's what it is. Yeah.
Would that have
a weird thing to tell somebody?
Yeah, I'd like to buy a vowel. Yeah. My dad doesn't like the corral.
Carol?
I don't know what that means.
Carol. We have to find and kill Carol.
Yeah, exactly. Who's Carol?
Jenny says that's how the graphic novel actually ends, which makes
sense.
sense.
I do think it's a nice ending.
It's a lot more powerful than actually it's a drug test. So
yeah.
And you're arrested. Gotcha. You piece of crap.
Yeah.
Ha
I do like. Remember how I was saying this? We didn't talk about this movie in specific, but we talked about it with a different movie. I just don't remember which. That like the most recent Spider-Man movie had the disease of like a bad improv scene where like everybody comes on screen and it's like, I'm this guy and I don't like you for this reason and I'm that. And like this movie had that a lot too. That like in the beginning the kid was like, what's your name and profession and age? Say it now. And then like the whole movie was plagued by people being like, stop, I'm a nurse. I'm 47 years old and I'm from Kentucky. And it was like, okay.
Remember when earlier I said I work at a museum?
Literally. It had the exact same thing of just being like, I'm a bad guy. I've got electricity and I don't like you because I'm not popular. Like it had that whole, it was like, oh, you're really doing it, huh?
That's pretty much it. It's like, I can't remember a movie. And as you know, as we get older and a little more senile, we get more racist. That's my problem.
I also was like, I thought I was onto something. I'll admit. I was like, okay, so what is the movie that Jack Nicholson and what was it? Who was it again? I can't even remember.
Frank Sinatra. I don't know.
No, it was Jack Nicholson and like Robert De Niro or something like that. I can't believe I forget. So anyway, I Googled it being like, oh my God, whatever that movie is going to be like some delicious little metaphor about like two guys who are stuck on an island and kill each other or like whatever. And honestly, it's not. It's a movie called The Missouri Breaks, which was a critically derided box office flop, and it has nothing to do with the movie, and there's no fun little Easter egg there. It has nothing to do with it. I was really disappointed because I thought I was going to come in and be like, well, guess who looked up the movie? And in the movie, a guy has schizophrenia and kills his friend. Like I thought I had something and I simply had nothing.
It means exactly as much as calling your character mid-sized sedan.
Truly.
Calling your token character mid-sized sedan.
I whiffed it on that one. But I thought I was onto my little boy genius. I thought I was onto it, but I wasn't.
I did wonder about mid-sized sedan, how long he was on the beach without recognizing that anything was going on, and how long his friend was swimming and died.
Why didn't he seem any older either? Like, if he's so famous, which he apparently is, it would have been weirder or maybe more appropriate if the girl had been like, I thought that was mid-sized sedan, but mid-sized sedan's 25 and that guy's like 40. But like he looks exactly like mid-sized sedan, and I like, you know what I mean? And then he's like, I am. And she's like, okay, weird, because like you don't look like him. You're older than he would be.
Didn't at one point his companion, I don't remember her name, but so I was referred to as his companion.
Dead naked
as soon as somebody says like, oh, we're getting older here on this beach, I think she says, hey, this is the first time they wish they were black. Am I right? Or am I thinking of a different movie?
Yeah, his companion is a dead woman who never.
I thought his companion was dead already. Like he was like, she went out swimming, and then they find the. I mean, somebody might have said that because I don't think the movie was. It sounds exactly like a line of dialogue that this movie. Would have,
no!
So
it's believable. It's the black lady. She does say that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or somebody says it to her or something like that. Like
the implication being that he just doesn't look much older. Because that's the stereotype.
To try and be like, well, we're not going to spend as much on the Asian makeup for these characters. That was
I think that was the implication.
Yeah.
I mean, like you get gray hair and stuff. Like,
I mean, they did
regardless
a
of like wrinkles and like hunching. Like, I wasn't like saying he's gonna like be like a little hunched man. Like, I just
like a little fucking wizard for the.
Yeah, I didn't think she was gonna be like that young wizard looks like a mid-sized sedan. Like, I thought like just like like but like he's 20. He's got gray at his temples.
I don't know. His nose
sedan that I saw on Twitter yesterday doesn't. I don't know.
Instagram versus reality, man.
Yeah, it's a bitch. Yeah, none of it really made any sense. I mean, I thought it was kind of interesting. The cracking arms in the cave was kind of a cool death. Like that was pretty.
Yeah, that was very Shyamalan-esque. I enjoyed that.
Super goofy, sort of still.
But sometimes his stuff is goofy, and I don't even mean that with I'm not saying that in a negative way. Like sometimes I like how goofy it is to buy into the premise of his movies. Like I legitimately do enjoy that. Like I love The Village. I think it's really fun. I also loved The Visit. Did anybody see that one?
Oh my god, that one's great.
I love it. And that is goofy. It's stupid. It's dumb. But I love the goofiness, and I was scared like multiple times. And the goofiness actually like was part of the enjoyment of the scariness. And so like,
and I'm not anti-goofiness from the perspective. So that one's all told from the perspective of the kids, and the kids are great in that movie. I think they're very well acted, very personable. I mean, so another way to look at this, I think a thing with horror movies is that if a horror movie is intended to be kind of gory and have a high death count, obviously they need a lot of characters. But the problem when you have a lot of characters, particularly in a horror movie, that's always going to be like 90 minutes anyway, you just can't flesh them all out. So you either really need to pick some that matter and really lean into it and have basically every interaction through them, or you have to have like 4 characters, which The Visit is 2 kids being scared of 2 grandparents. And that's
okay. And also Catherine Hahn on a video call being like, "Kids, I'm wine drunk on a boat. I can't help you with this question. Just go have fun with your grandma." I loved that. Again, saying this with no judgment at all. I was obsessed.
That's
with
also a movie where it's
one person who could save them was like, "Kids, there's a young man here and he's absolutely going to take me to my cabin later. I can't keep talking. I had a lot of wine today and I'm going to get railed. Have fun with grandma." Like, I just loved it. Love.
I also love that she's like, "We've made up enough with your grandparents that I'm going to send you to their house, but not visually identify them or even know what their voice sounds like." It doesn't matter. We're not going to talk about that movie.
Whatever. We should though. It was fun.
That's a great movie. There's some bangers in his catalog, and there are some real weird ones. Like this, Shape of Water makes no freaking sense.
Yeah, but didn't you like Shape of Water?
No, not Shape of Water. Lady in the Water. Shape of Water is about having sex with a bitch.
Sorry, I also meant to say what you meant to say. But did you enjoy Lady in the Water? Because I enjoyed Lady in the Water.
In a general sense, I sat there as a 12-year-old or whatever with my dumbass 12-year-old friend, and we were like, I don't know. I thought they were gonna like die and stuff, but
I
it's
don't know
just
why
like
I also saw the movie as a
magic.
teenager. I think when I saw it with my dad, and I remember like on the way out being like, I think I liked that. I don't know if I was supposed to, but I think I enjoyed it. Wasn't there a guy who jacked off too much? And oh no, he was lifting weights with one arm. He had one arm that was bigger than the other. That was like a thing.
That's right. Yeah.
This episode is
He
just
was
a gold
lifting
mine.
weights.
This is a gold mine for like cutting out Allie's audio and using it against her in the future.
I
think you're watching
just
a different
remembered one
movie.
big arm. It's not that crazy to imagine how we got there.
Yeah. So anyway, do we have any other thoughts before we throw it to the audience?
People are saying, I think it was again just Jenny or whatever, that mid-sized sedan way too famous to be kidnapped and put on this island.
Insane. How? I also just like I am obviously making this up right now, but like most famous people have some semblance of a internet presence. I know some don't, but like many young people do, whether it's of their own volition or because their like, you know, label is like, well, you have to be on TikTok because they all are. And so like
True, yeah.
The idea that this guy would very likely, beyond being famous, be like about to go to an island, see y'all in 3 days, you know what I mean? And then like never come home. Like people are on TikToks are like detectives. They like solve true crime from watching TikToks. They'd be like, this guy went to this island on this day. He was kidnapped. He was taken. Do you know what I'm saying? Like people would have solved it.
But the pharmacist acquired his passport. So checkmate.
You can't. A pharmacist with a passport is no match for Gen Z. I fear them and I respect
Not for midnight.
them. There's no way.
Not for mid-sized sedans fans.
Mm-mm.
That's what they should have done. They should have had BTS on that island, and it's nuked within like 3 hours because BTS
but
is.
Then the fans, like 100%, they would find if BTS was on that island, that movie would have ended with a helicopter landing and a bunch of teen girls running out and saving them. That's how that would have ended.
And they would have all been hacked, and it would have been amazing. Sorry. Any other thoughts before we throw it to the unwashed masses?
Let's throw it.
All right, what do we got here? We're getting a review of Triple X. Yes, we are. We're going to do Vin Diesel week. I'm just kidding. No, we're not. And then same question from a different angle. Are we doing Big?
Oh, yeah.
I love Big. Also, wait, wasn't Triple X the one that just came out?
No.
That was about them filming a porno. Am I wrong?
I think about Triple R.
That's
just X.
That's just X.
Okay,
it was great, by the way. I mean,
getting all my stuff mixed up.
It was a B plus. It wasn't as good as people said it was. When Allie gets jealous, she definitely gets green. Talking about
me really being related to the Jolly Green Giant?
Yep.
So I was gonna say that also just may be true because there's an old joke from 30 Rock that I really identify with where Liz Lemon says she can't wear green because it brings out her witchy undertones. And I most definitely have some green witchy undertones. So I really have never forgotten that joke.
And now neither will the 11 people who listen to this.
Have fun, 11 people.
Meta Drew, yeah, we already talked about this. Yeah, for me, the cinematography, it's not even that it was so bad. It's just that it didn't serve the actors ever, and they seemed to be really struggling.
I mean,
it just felt like it was a beautiful place, and there were some really cool shots, like especially when she was in the water, Thomasin McKenzie, and like there was lots of cool stuff like that, lots of cool overhead shots. But when it was that 70s showing, everybody, it's just like they're all having to wait, like.
I kind of like I would like to say that I admire the intent. Like I do think that like you can't see a Shyamalan movie and not immediately know it was one of his movies. Like he really is like an auteur in that way. Like and I do like respect that, and I think that like he was really trying something with these long shots and like sort of filming things like oh God, what's the expression I'm looking for? Like where things like take place in the real time sort of cinema verite style, or like these like really long shots. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if anybody here is like a big old art house fan, but like sort of like going for like a Bellatar type like Turin horse thing where it's like it was only filmed in 11 shots. I don't know.
Well, I think it's a time thing.
I admire trying it. I just don't think it was as visually interesting as it should have been.
I would bet money right now that I want to see the actual graphic novel. I bet there's a lot of what are they called, like long horizontal framing? What am I thinking of? Like landscape, like a lot of like landscape shots with the dialogue like taking place across the entire page or whatever. I bet he saw that and was like, I'm gonna do that with a camera.
Well, and I think too, it's the fewer breaks allow it to feel like, oh wow, they're aging in real time so fast. Things are happening. Like he's freaking out because he's like, I'm never going to get divorced, and we have to run all the way over, and she's already had a kid and it's already died, and we have to run all the way over. So it's like, I think it's just a way to heighten the chaos of how quickly they're freaking aging.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean the actors knew what the hell they were doing.
Panorama.
Somebody mentioned Midnight Mass earlier, and there's a really interesting shot in like the third episode or something where they're on a beach and there are like 5,000 dead cats or birds or both. I can't remember.
Scary.
And the sheriff is walking literally just up and down the beach and running into people and talking to people, and you don't even realize until about 3 minutes in that like, oh, we haven't cut this whole time.
Yeah, that's cool.
But it's so much better. It's the exact same type of shot. It's literally a beach where weird shit's happened, but it's just engaging and it's interesting, and you're constantly just like, why are there so many dead freaking birds or cats or whatever it was? I can't remember.
I love to go. I cannot wait to go back and be like, it was donkeys. Like, what was Jordan on?
Well, it's an island of cats. They have an island of cats, but there were dead birds. I don't remember. It's great. Anything by Mike Flanagan, by the way. Talk about horror stuff.
Yes.
Talk about horror auteurs, dude.
Yes.
Everything that he does is amazing.
Has he had a movie? Has he had a movie yet or no?
He's done. He did Gerald's Game, which I have not seen. He did Dr. Sleep, which I have seen, and I did like the sequel.
Was that a movie? Was that a movie? Yes, it was a movie. Yes, I like Dr. Sleep.
I think he's done a few other things. Anyway, Mike Flanagan's great. Do people relate to the characters in this movie? It's odd. No.
I mean, I don't think you can relate to an archetype. I mean, I guess you kind of can, but like not like in a real way.
I'm a bit of a shapeless guy myself. Nondescript with no personality.
I'm always like climbing and falling from rocks. So I guess I identify with that girl in the movie.
I have aged 50 years during this
2
podcast,
years.
So,
now
yeah.
now that is relatable.
Loco Madman, how do their teeth not all rot and fall out? Great point.
We can say another one. The cocktail. They probably just figured out how to fix teeth.
It does seem like their body should be changing, just in general. Like they should be getting fatter, but that would be no fun. To be totally honest, it would be weird. I mean, unless they did it really well. But if they're like, yeah, you're getting fat, you're getting skinny, and I mean, it could be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, like, and also like they did like with the parents be like, my hearing's getting worse, my eyesight's getting worse. It wasn't kind of believable insofar as like if you were getting older, like you would need better glasses or whatever. But yeah, I guess it would be sort of weird to be like, you're holding more weight in your hip area. You must be post 30.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, great. I guess that's true.
Shut up.
Yeah, exactly. Which would have been my real response. I'm just like, okay, and
and
your kid got pregnant. Wait, good parenting.
And then the baby died. You're a terrible grandmother. This is kind of the point we're making about mid-sized sedan, but it's just the complexity required to make this a medical thing is truly bonkers. Wiping entire families off the internet from the members of their friends and family.
I sure hope so.
Oh, there we're back to the poop.
Yeah, 320 pounds of poop. You're not going to wipe that up with.
You're not going to wipe up that fast. I agree. It's pretty crazy.
So, also, Irish Lover points out that the vaccine must have been made on the island resort because we got it in less than a year. So,
wow.
That's actually Trump's
I think we have a new conspiracy theory for the internet.
That's what Epstein's Island was.
Oh my God, it was a vaccine island after all that.
Oh my God, we made a mistake. Okay.
I made a mistake.
We're sorry, sir. Thank you for your service.
Okay, well,
this is just a dangerous episode for out of context moments.
We got a 75% on that birth canal theory.
Cool.
So.
Again, I wasn't going to write a thesis on it. I just wanted to present it as a possibility, just in case somebody really identified with that. I don't know.
Irish Lover points out that I'm a lumberjack like my father before me, which is what
somebody
say that. I'm a lumberjack. I know how to cut that tumor out of her with this axe.
Like my father before me. Yeah.
I have a tumor. I'm a tumor doctor. Uh-oh.
Yeah. Thank God you're here.
And I have a knife. All right. Cool. I think that's all the main ones. Somebody else. Oh, yeah. There was somebody else mentioned that Midnight Mass had some monologues where two characters talk about what they think heaven is like or about or something. And it's like it's a little bit goofy in some ways, but they each get like a 10-minute slow zoom, and then it just does the next one. And
I
it's
like that.
Really long, but it's
I find stuff like that very interesting.
Pretty great.
Whether or not it's like super effective. I just rewatched season 2 of Fargo, which is like one of my favorite seasons of TV ever. Because my fiance was watching it, and so I was like, well, that means I'm watching it. And that show also like gives people just full-on monologues. It feels like sometimes it feels like honestly like very much like a play, where just like somebody will just be like, I'm going to talk about America now, and then they'll just like have like a 5-minute slow zoom sort of one shot thing where they'll be, I don't know, Patrick Wilson was reminiscing about being in Vietnam. I don't know. It's
well,
I think it's very interesting.
That's just my point, I guess, about the difference between M. Night, presumably, and Mike Flanagan, is that Mike Flanagan is doing everything to highlight his actors. For example, actually, now that I think about it, in the 6th episode of freaking Haunting at Hill House, they do a That 70s shot where literally all the characters are fighting and the camera, unbroken take, spins in a circle, and they age. So like it's them arguing and they're all kids. When it gets back to them, they're adults. When it gets back to them, they're kids. So it's like them arguing through time, and it's amazing. It's incredible.
Yeah,
it's a laugh track.
When stuff like this, honestly, there was sort of an effective version of that in this movie where the kids are in the tent, and it's just like they're like, it's just kind of their head and shoulder and like a little bit of their face, and then it's like it's clear that they're getting older as they're talking, but it's like not like a corny split screen shot, and it's like. There are effective moments of the movie. There just aren't more effective moments than there are ineffective.
Yeah. Anyway, we should just watch a bunch of Mike Flanagan stuff. I just like that so much.
It'd be fun. I'm all about watching Dr. Sleep or something.
Yeah. No, you're not allowed. I'm just kidding.
No, come on. I'll wear a jaunty little top hat like the woman in the movie. Come on, let me wear a top hat.
That's part of this podcast.
My crush.
We have to watch the same movie every week, but we also are not allowed to watch whatever movies Jordan doesn't want us to watch.
Yeah. Wait, Jordan. We talked over you. Is she your celebrity crush? You never ever talk about thinking actors are handsome or pretty or anything. You're always just like,
very handsome. I find her quite handsome.
She is. She's a very handsome woman. She was great in Dune. Did you see Dune?
I saw Dune. It's actually Mission Impossible 5 where she was brought to my attention. I was like, okay.
There you go.
Tom Cruise. Getting it. All right. Let's do some titles.
Yeah, I actually have ones for once.
All right, I'll start because mine will get us flagged. I had Anti-Vax Bahamas. That was it. Actually, a Sexy Little Cove, I think, is actually kind of.
I think so too. That's really good.
It's really good. I had I think the title that's up right now is "Can You Believe I Found This Online?" Because that's what she says. It's so funny when characters like, "Hey, did you know the backstory of how we're here?" I just want to throw that at you real quick, so that we can't be.
I think it should be even. I think we should go even further. I think it should be full on, just like SpawnCon. Like, I got this on Travelocity. Yeah, $89 a day. It's crazy.
It's crazy. All I had to do was tell them that I had a very specific illness and give my full medical history. It's nuts.
The screening process was intense, but you can't beat those Travelocity prices.
All right, Allie, what do you got?
Okay, here we go.
Yep.
First, we've got Lady in the Water, parentheses, getting really old and dying. Then we have Signs, parentheses, of aging. Then we have The 60th Sense. And lastly, and finally, we have Adult Swim.
Ooh. I like so Adult Swim a lot.
That's awesome.
That's all I got. You didn't like Signs of Aging?
I liked it fine, but
that was good,
I like Adult Swim a whole lot. Shoot, I should have done that. I should have gone through his filmography. I feel like an idiot.
That's what I did, and that's all I had. I was really looking for one for Split for a while, and then I gave up.
Glass, Unbreakable,
Unbreakable Bones, because I have a calcium deficient. Again, great intro. Do you have any sort of calcium? I'll take the juice, the calcium bomb. I have a calcium deficiency. My daughter won't, though.
So when they all show up at the beach, they all get specific cocktails or whatever to their preferences that are used to hide drugs. It'd be funny if she just got like a big ass glass of milk. They're like, this is for your specific preferences. She's like, oh, thank God. My bones are so brittle.
I have such brittle bones.
Yeah, this milk is a little spicy for me, but I'm not going to question it. All right. That was my impersonation of the Sports Illustrated.
A woman.
Yeah.
Really good.
All right. Jesse, what do you got for us?
Okay. I see old people.
I see old people.
Panic at the Beach is good. National Lampoon's Allegorical Vacation.
Mm-hmm.
More gel for the cooking.
Yeah.
And finally,
That was it?
UGE. Ugh.
That's how you think you spell ugh? I would have said UGH.
Oh, wait, what did I say? UGE?
UGE.
Yeah, I meant UGH.
God, Jesse, that was really messed up of you.
Excellent choices, as always. Alt title, Violation of the Nuremberg Code.
Good.
Do I know what the Nuremberg Code is?
I think that's
just the Nazi trial stuff? Oh, drug. Okay, testing.
Yeah, like don't experiment on people.
Don't
unwittingly give drugs to humans who don't want it.
I think of it more as the Nuremberg suggestions.
The Nuremberg Cove.
Another thing we're going to absolutely take out of context for you someday.
What do you mean? That's the context. I meant it, baby. All right. So Russian nesting doll beach. Oh, that's more just if we had gone with my original idea where we ended this movie like men.
The Guild of whatever. Sorry, I was trying to read their icon and I thought it was really cool. Now it's gone.
Beach Blanket Massacre.
Very good. Really enjoyed that.
Senior Beach Party or Senior Beach Trip.
Also really good.
Senior Beach Trip Party. I guess I should say your names because some people will listen to this on audio. JQXJQ. Now everybody's going to be looking for you because nice title.
Everyone's going to be looking for you because you appeared on an island and you're famous.
Weekend. Irish Lovers says weekend at Pfizer R&D Lab, which is sort of a reference to the thing that we were doing. Into Under the Sea. And then
I like the multi-use of different question marks there.
Well, it's because Guy is something Hispanic.
I'm glad
Spanish.
I'm glad that you didn't venture a little guess though. A sexy little guess.
I know he's played like a Cuban character a lot. I feel like
yes, that is true. I do not know, but he's a very talented actor. You would not know it from this movie.
You wouldn't. He's the worst part. I mean, I would argue that he and the wife are the two worst actors in this movie. They're
really quite bad in this movie, and it's a shame. I think they are good actors, but
yeah,
they were the
nothing
low
to
points
work
of the
with
movie for me. 100%.
I'm just glad that Bryan Cranston was spared because I don't think my heart could handle it if he was acting poorly in anything. I think it would just ruin my whole life.
I mean, I still think he'd probably pull it out, but I don't know.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. But I'm glad that he didn't get tricked into it. Eternal Sunshine of the Aging Mind, not bad.
Very good.
Very nice. Very nice.
All title, it was China. The stream dies. Okay, so that's it, I think. So I'm just going to wrap us up before we say where we're from. We're live streaming now Thursdays at 4 p.m. I don't know what we're doing next week. We might be doing a crazy Sean Connery movie. We might be doing something good.
Never.
In the meantime, never. Please subscribe to Crack Movie Club on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And I had been pushing you to our stupid newsletter, but nobody's in charge of that anymore, so I wouldn't do that. I would instead say that I'm adding a link where you can request movies of us. It's at the top of the live stream, but I'll also put it in the comments. So just send us your email and
it would be great. Appreciated, honestly. Like we spend a lot of time arguing about what we're gonna do. We all say
do not get along.
We do not get along. Well, we all like, let's watch Dr. Sleep, and Jordan's like, no. So, if enough of you are like, we should watch Dr. Sleep, then Jordan can't do anything about it.
I run a tight ship here. Where can we find you all other than literally what it says? But there's an audio version of this too, so go.
Sure. Yes. You can find me on Twitter at Miss Alice Nutting, MSALICE NUTTING. There's also a new episode of Gender Swap out, which I think is very funny. There is a moment in it in which I scream exactly like Toad.
It's true.
Maybe I can let that be what sells you on going to watch it.
It sold me.
Yeah. Brian put a little Toad hat on you and everything.
Yeah, and it wasn't on purpose, but sometimes when somebody reads you and you're like, and they're right, you just gotta be like, well, you're right. I do sound like Toad.
Big Toad energy.
Was right.
Big Toad energy. I always played as Toad when I played Super Smash Brothers or Mario Kart or anything like that, so I'm all about it.
You didn't play Toad in Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, I meant to say Mario Kart. It just came out, but I played as my Super Smash Brothers character is Pit, who I don't know what game Pit comes from, but he's the little angel guy who goes yeah. Just so you know, that's what I play as.
Most of the characters do that. It just depends on what they are, but yeah, they all.
He specifically says yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not wrong.
I believe you.
We all love Pitt for that reason. Jesse, where can we find you?
Find me on Twitter at Eisemann, EISEMANN. There are also a couple of nice little Cannons Ball coming up soon that you probably want to check out.
There is. I have it. I got an email while we were doing this for the next Cannons Ball Draft 1. So that's exciting. Hopefully it's not terrible like all your other ones. You can find me.
Damn.
What? Somebody commented, by the way, that Allie is our best host now.
Wow.
On the Cracked YouTube channel.
I'm sure it's because of the Toad thing, but
Yeah. She's actually fired now, so this will be the last time you ever see her. Anyway, you can find me on the Twitters at _J_breeding, and tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, we are doing the season 3 finale of Your Brain on Cracked. There are multiverses, there are robots, there's implied time travel, there's virtual reality, and none of it is as exciting as it sounds when I say it like that. But Roger might be in it for literally a second.
Oh my God, we didn't have that one guy who usually comments about Roger needing to be here. I can't believe he's missing out on you telling him there will be Roger content.
Roger content will come next week. Also, I'm really hopeful that I'm editing one right now. It's all filmed. Should be out on Tuesday, unless it isn't, because my job's hard sometimes. So that's it. I'm gonna go now. Watch Cracked YouTube, or don't.
Or don't.
Matter.
It's your life,
short.
and life is fleeting. Make a sandcastle. Play with your sister. Not in a weird way. Just
not in a weird way.
Just normal.
Yeah, just normal building sandcastles.
Just normal way. Just be normal.
And I'm gonna say goodbye. Oh my gosh! I'm gonna hit the broadcast. Bye.